Hey, welcome back everyone to Burning Man's Gaming Vault. If you're new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, because today we're going on a nostalgia trip back to the 90s with one of the quirkiest platformers on the Game Boy, Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle. This game came out in 1990 and it's been sitting in my memories for years. But the real question is it in yours? And does it hold up today? So let's dive in and find out. So what exactly is Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle? Well, it's a puzzle platformer which for its time was pretty unique on the Game Boy. You play as our favourite wisecracking bunny, Bugs Bunny, and your goal is to escape various castles whilst avoiding the enemies, solving puzzles and collecting items. The game's levels are maze-like and filled with quirky obstacles and baddies, which is where the challenge comes in. Now, I've got to say, the enemies here are kind of hilarious. You've got a whole slew of Looney Tunes villains coming after you. I mean, who doesn't like seeing Elmer Fudd or Daffy Duck trying to take you down? But here's the catch. It's not about attacking them. You've got to outsmart them. Each stage is more like a puzzle. In many ways, you'll spend more time thinking about how to avoid enemies and figure out how to get to the exit than you will trying to jump on things. The graphics in Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castles are very much in line with what you'd expect for an early Game Boy title. The backgrounds are simple and you've got the essential Looney Tunes characters popping up, which gives the game the authentic feeling. Bugs Bunny himself is of course the star of the show, and his animations are surprisingly quite charming for such a limited system. The way he hops around and his little idle animation is just classic. Then you get to the sound. This is where the game kind of falls short, if I'm being honest. The music is super catchy. I mean, I really love the music. It takes me right back as soon as I hear it. But after hearing the same loops over and over and over again, it can get a little grating. But personally, I like the catchiness. But some of my friends back in the day, they used to go round and twist with it. It doesn't really help that there aren't a ton of sound effects as well. You just got the basic jump sound, some coin collecting noises and the occasional, what's up, Doc? That's about it. It's not bad, but it doesn't exactly stand out either. Now let's talk about the controls and the gameplay mechanics, because this is where Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle really does shine, or doesn't, depending on your perspective. The controls are simple and easy to pick up, which is a good thing, but simplicity also means there's not a ton of depth. You've got your basic movement, left, right, jump, and you can interact with certain objects by pressing the A button. But the game's difficulty ramps up quickly, and that's where it can get frustrating. Some of the platforming section can feel a little awkward, and there are moments where the game just throws a ridiculous number of enemies at you. You're constantly jumping over things, avoiding enemies, and trying to figure out which door to go through. It's a lot of trial and error, and depending on how patient you are, that could either be positive or a negative. This was the first game I got on the Game Boy, and I was not off it. I loved it so much. The loopy chorus kept me glued to it, and I got pretty good at it, and the tricky puzzles I actually thrived off, and when I did fail, it made me more determined to get stuck back in on the next round. So I actually loved it. The difficulty ramped up, and I actually found the challenge rewarding as well. Another thing I'll give Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle credit for as well is its replayability. The game has a ton of levels to work through, 50 in total, which makes it feel like there's always something new around the corner. Sure, the stages can get a bit repetitive, but the challenge of figuring out each new puzzle is enough to keep you coming back. The first timers, it won't be easy, and the coming back and the keep trying will keep you interested and keep you glued for it for a good while. I know it did with me back in the day. As I mentioned before, the difficulty of Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle can be a bit of a mixed bag. Early on it's not too bad, the levels are manageable, and you can figure out what to do and it's not too much hassle, but as you get into them later stages, things can get pretty tough. So after playing through Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle again, what's the verdict? It's definitely an interesting slice of 90s gaming nostalgia. It's a fun little puzzle platformer that has a lot of charm, especially if you're a fan of Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes crew and stuff like that. But there are a couple of downsides. The difficulty can be a little punishing, especially in them later higher levels. The sound is a bit repetitive, but again, I did like that. And the gameplay can feel a bit basic, but it was a Game Boy game and it was an early Game Boy title, so, you can't really knock it too much. Overall, I'd give Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle a great score, but I don't know if that's through my love of it or my nostalgia or just the fact that I got pretty good at it. But putting everything into perspective, I'd have to give it an honest score for Bernie Man's Game and Vault of a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's fun as hell. And it's a pick up and play every now and again game, especially if you want to relive some of the Game Boy magic. If you're into puzzle games, or classic Looney Tunes, or both, it's worth checking out. It won't blow your socks off, but it's fun and it'll keep you busy, it'll keep it interesting, and it's always something to go back to. Alright, that's it for today's review. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and let me know your thoughts on Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle in the comments below. Did you have it when you first had your Game Boy? Have you ever played it later, maybe on an emulator or anything like that? Has the video made you interested to maybe go back and play it? Try and maybe dig it out of a car boot sale or find an emulator or something like that, or maybe you've got it tucked away somewhere and this makes you think, oof, I want to go and dig that out and have a little go. Let us know what your favourite Game Boy game was, because I'd love to hear any suggestions of people's favourite games. I want to thank everyone who keeps coming back and watching the videos, and if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I do have a Discord link in the description below, along with links to my other socials, so if you do want to pop by and say hi, then that'd be great. But until then, I'll catch you next time, and as always, look after yourselves.